Good morning, students. Our today's discussion is going to be about files. Okay. So before we proceed to the discussion, you have studied computer fundamentals in your first semesters. So can you tell me which are the two types of memory that we have in computer? Do you remember which are the two types of memories and what are the differences between the two types of the memories that we have?
Static and dynamic, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the difference between static and dynamic? Static dynamic, I'm not talking about dynamic memory allocation. Okay, overall I'm asking you which are the two classifications of memory in computer architectures that you have studied in your first semester.
RAM and ROM.
Primary, secondary.
So primary and secondary. So what is the difference between primary and secondary? Let me put it down here. What is the difference between primary storage and secondary storage?
It is volatile and one is non-volatile.
Which is non-volatile?
Secondary.
Secondary. Okay. Okay, fine. Let me, let us say that we have done C programs, right? We have seen the execution now. Now like the program is written, it is there, it is stored in your memory there. Now every time I need to see the output, I want to know the result of that particular program. We go to the terminal, we compile it using GCC program name.c, and then we try to execute using .a.a.slash.out, right? So these are the things that we try to understand, that we try to run the program, we see the output. But the moment I close my terminal, the output from that particular terminal is disappearing. Again, the next time, whenever I need to know the output, I again have to follow the same process. I need to try to run it again, try to compile and then run it again to see the output. Now, when we talk about files here, this files, you can say that even you relate it to your real life a folder or a file, a structure that you have. What are files then when we're talking about files using programming, or when we talk about files in C programming? What are files? So files will help you basically solve your problems of storage. You can say that you are able to store data on the file. Basically, a file will act as a secondary storage, wherein the data, whatever you store, will be recorded permanently. And even if you try following the same process of trying to compile it, trying to run it, the output will be preserved there. Then the question here is why do we need to use files? So a simple answer for this, why do we need to use files? Whenever we decide to store the data and we want to store the data permanently, we are going to make use of the structure, a data structure called as files. So basically, if you have a large amount of data to store, you could store it on your secondary devices, because you know that secondary devices will have the data permanently, whereas your primary storage is something wherein they are temporary in nature. They are volatile. So whatever data is there is going to be erased the moment you switch off your computer or close that particular terminal or close that particular program or a file, to put it in general terms now. So when we say file, we should remember that it is going to be a place on a disk. You can, because why disk? Disk by meaning it is a secondary storage. So it is going to consume some space on your secondary storage. And you can, when I say files, it is up to the user. Any data it could be. He could just have a Word document or made up of only characters, numbers. He could have images, which are binary files. He may want to store a combination of these both, binary files and normal textual file. So basically, even when we say in general terms, let us not just refer to computers. If I would say you have, get me a file or get me a folder, right? You can imagine that, you visualize that a particular rectangular shape file you have in which all papers are stored. So what are we using, or why are we using that particular thing? We are trying to use a file there. That is a structure, or you can say that that is a physical device, which is having records, which is storing all the records. So if I say that I need a file wherein all student details are stored, right? So all that content, whatever I require related to that particular student, or say related to that particular student of one particular semester, everything is going to be recorded there. And in terms of paper, or in terms of physical tangible objects, we are trying to store it on the file. The same thing we are going to do now using the computer. So the thing that you try to store on the computer, which is stored on the secondary storage, which is wherein the data can be stored permanently, will be called as a file now. Then now what would be the purpose, or what we can say that what operations can we do using the files? We say files are there, but what operations, how can you use them? So let us have a look at what are the different operations that can be performed on the file. So before we move on to the operations, if let us have a real life context. Okay, so you people imagine you have text, you have your notebooks, right? So you have so many subjects, different subjects. For one particular semester, you have around 6 subjects. So you have 6 different books for each of these subjects. Now, how would you try to, when I say get me the book, get me the notebook of a particular subject like data structures, right? So how are you going to identify that particular book? One thing is, if you talk about just having a look at the books, most of us will try to remember that particular book by the design, right? Now let us talk logically. Instead of just going on the outer design or the outer cover page of the book, every book you can give a name there. You can write your name, you can give the details, which subject, you will write your roll number. So you are able to identify that particular book with the help of the subject name that you have given on its initial page. So then if you have this book, you have a particular book, the first thing that is important to identify that particular book is what is its name. We are able to identify a book by its name. So the same thing applies for a file also. If we talk about files, even in computers, every file needs to have a proper name. A proper naming convention needs to be followed, because if we just randomly give any name for a particular file, that would be difficult to identify. Simple example again, you know that whenever we write programs also, we try to give relevant names. Like if you want to calculate the largest and the smallest number, I would try to give a name wherein I am able to identify what program it is just by looking at its name. So I will say minmax.c, or if I have a simple Word document wherein I have stored my resume, so I will give a proper name there. I will say I'll give my name Aparna resume.docx. This is how I'll save it. So if you do not follow the proper naming convention, it is just going to be difficult for the user to identify what is the content of that file. So let us understand that even when we talk for computer, or we talk about files digitally, which exist on our secondary storage device, the important operation, the first very important operation is trying to name a file properly. So now when we say that trying to name a file properly, a file can have different extensions. Usually when we talk about file names, it has 2 parts. Okay, first one is going to be the file name that you give. Like let me, for example, let us say that I have a file called as student details. Okay, this is the first part of the file name. After this we will have a dot operator. What comes after the dot operator is going to be your extension. If it is a MS Word file, we have extensions like DOC, or we have extensions like DOCX. Then if you make use of an Excel sheet or a workbook, we have extensions like XL, SX. Then if you have just a notepad, like without any extension, if you try to save it, you can also go for TXT, .txt. Then you are studying web programming now. right? So HTML programs, what is the extension? How do you store your HTML programs?
.html.
.html, correct, very good, right? So these are the extensions. So your file name, even digitally, whenever it exists, you have used now, so you must have used MS Paint also, you have seen images also. If you observe, you can see that every file, everything that is residing on your digital systems will have two parts. One is the file name, followed by a dot operator, followed by its extension. So even in data structures or C programming, if we are trying to create files, first important thing to understand is let us try to give a relevant name to a file. Most of us have the habit of just randomly typing some letters from the keyboard and then saving it. But what happens, what are the problems we face when you do this? Next time you want to access the content of that file, you're not able to recall by what particular name you had saved it. One thing is extension also matters, because extension will tell you what kind of a file it is. So very first important operation is naming of that particular file. Every file should have a proper name followed by its extension. Okay, so if you talk about the file names, they are basically just a group of characters. You can add make use of certain special symbols like an underscore, or certain numeric values will be permitted. But it would be best to see that how suitably we can give a file name. Otherwise, if we talk about making use of special symbols, some of you would just randomly type something followed by add hash dot any that extension whatever is there. So this is not going to be a proper name. So the important thing to understand is have a proper naming convention for files in data structures. After we have understood how can we name, remember that they have two parts, okay? When we talk about naming of a file, they have two parts. The first is the file name, which is a group of characters, followed by dot operator and followed by its extension. Then once the thing is done, okay, like I asked you now, you get me the data structures notebook. So you have opened and you have looked at the subject name that you have mentioned on all your 6 books. So you got me the data structures notebook. Then what purpose does your notebook serve? Just think in general terms, what purpose does it serve? What are the tasks that you can do with that particular notebook? Could you name some of them? Why would you use a notebook?
Note something.
To note something, okay, again. Roll number 254, Shraddha. Roll number 254, Shraddha, are you there in the meeting? Roll number 297, Amisha. Roll number 297, Amisha. Roll number 300, Anish. Yes, Amisha, can you just tell me what is the purpose? Why would you use a notebook? One of your friend has told that it serves the purpose of trying to store data in it or trying to write something in it. Can you tell me some more uses?
Ma'am, when we want, we can read it.
Correct.
The
So you are, see, we are not relating it to computer now. I'm just saying that you have a book. What is the purpose it serves? You are able to make notes in it, which means you are trying to write something, right? Then she said we will be able to read it whenever we want, which means you are just trying to access that particular notebook. You are just trying to make a use of it by viewing it or trying to read it. So similarly, when we talk about files here in data structures, we will also have, like, for what purpose are we using? Why are we making use of files? So we have certain similar operations or similar modes in which we can have use of that file. We can read that file, we can write to that particular file. So as and how we proceed, we are going to see this. So before we proceed to making use of that file, the important thing is we need to open that particular file. We have done the naming. The next important thing would be to open. Unless and until you open the notebook, you will not be able to read or write. Correct? You imagine you have that notebook, a data structure book, which is closed. So the important thing, if I want to write something, if I ask you to write a program, the very first thing would be you would need to open that book. Similarly, when we talk about digital files also, if I need to store something or if I need to read, even just to view it, okay, the first thing is I need to open it. Like I have this Word document opened here. I'm trying to write something to it. So before I write something, I need to open it. I need to open this particular file. Then I'll be able to type something. That is, I'll be able to write something onto it. So we need to open the file. Okay. So now we have syntax. How can we open that particular file? Let us have a look at the syntax of how are we able to open the file. Okay. So we have a keyword, or we can say that we will make use of the data structure, and the data structure is called as file, followed by we will again make use of pointers here. Okay. So you need the asterisk mark. So you can say that you will have the asterisk followed by your file pointers, followed by your file pointers. So now why again pointers? So we have seen how we can make use of a pointer to point to arrays or point to variables or point to dynamic memory allocations. Now since we are talking about files, we are talking about the secondary storage. So when we talk about secondary storage, again with the help of the pointers, we will be trying to allocate some memory address, or we'll be trying to store some memory address for that particular file. So this is the syntax. Whenever you make use of a file, first you need to open it. Okay. So you make use of the keyword file followed by a pointer variable. A simple, just one simple example, if we say that if we had to understand this, we will have the keyword followed by a pointer variable. Your pointer variable again can be anything. Okay. For most, since we're talking about files, we go for having the convention of star FP. If you want, you can also go for the most commonly that we have used, any of the pointer variable names. But remember, you need to make use of this particular keyword or this particular data structure. Now once we have opened a file, the next thing that we need to do, okay, we will either try to perform the read write operation. We will study that in detail. So once this is done, what we need to do is we need to tell for what purpose we are trying to open the file. So our declaration part is done. We have told that we are making use of file. The declaration is done. The next syntax is going to talk about how we need to open the file. So to open the file, we will first give our once this particular declaration is done, so we will give our particular file pointer that we have used, the variable file pointer. Then we have a function. Okay, the function is called as fopen. The function is called as fopen. So this function tells that we are trying to open our file. So this particular function again takes two parameters. Okay, now you need to tell which file are we opening. We need to tell it which file are we opening. So the first parameter is going to be the file name followed by its extension, and the second parameter is going to be the mode. Okay, this mode means for what purpose. It's what purpose are we trying to open a particular file, whether we are just trying to have a look at the content or we want to write something and save onto it. So this is the syntax for opening a particular file. First, we need to declare that we are trying to create a file. Once the declaration is there, we need to open that particular file. So remember that when we declare, we make use of the data structure file followed by a pointer variable. Okay, followed by any one pointer variable. Then with the same file pointer variable, we are pointing to our file. So to open a file, we have the fopen function, which takes two parameters: the file name which we need to open, followed by for what purpose we are opening that particular file. Just one, I'll just randomly write here one example. So say that we have a file. Let us give the name for the file just as details, and say the extension is .txt. So this is going to be my file name. Then let us assume that I'm just trying to open this file and view it, or I'm just opening and trying to read it. So these are the modes. So the modes, we will have a look in the next session what are the different modes. If I say R, it means that I'm opening it for the reading purpose. My purpose of opening the file details.txt is for reading purpose. Okay, so till here, did you people follow?
Ma'am, can you please repeat the opening part, ma'am?
Yes. To open a file, we just have a function, and the function is fopen. Okay, this is inbuilt function. It is not user defined. So anytime you want to open, you should remember this function name. The function name is called as fopen. The function name is fopen, which takes two parameters, two arguments. It takes two parameters or two arguments. Which are the two arguments that it takes? First thing is, you need to specify the file name followed by its extension. Okay, and the next part is going to be the purpose. What is your purpose of opening that particular file? Just like you have a textbook or you have a notebook, when you want to access it, you first want to look for its file name, the textbook name, or you want to look for the book name, and then what is the purpose of getting that particular book? Whether you want to just read that book, whether you want to just write something onto that book. So this could be the purpose. Now, to open a file, okay, we will not open it. We will first have to make use of again a file pointer. That is, we need to declare a pointer variable. Since we are trying to access files, see this F here indicates it is a file. It is not just open function, it is fopen, means file open. So you know that we have used pointers to point to different things. Since we are going to make use of files here, we will do the same thing again. We will make use of a pointer variable, and that pointer variable needs to point to which file which is mentioned here. So for that, I need to declare first a pointer variable. How the pointer variables are declared? We would just, the convention that we would follow is, okay, we have declared like int star p, we have declared as int star p, or if you wanted for a character type of a pointer, right, you would say char star c. If it is for a float, you have mentioned the data type first, and then you have written your particular pointer variables. Now, since we are making use of files, okay, file is a type of a data structure which is inbuilt kind of a data type. We need to, instead of mentioning int, instead of mentioning char float, we will write the data type as file. Just like you mention here int. So in a similar way, you will mention the data type to be file, followed by your pointer name. The pointer name again, it's up to you. You need not every time just write FP. Okay, this is not a keyword. You can have your own pointer variable name. The important thing to understand is this particular, why are we mentioning this particular data name here as a file? Why are we mentioning that? That we need to understand. If it is a data type that we normally use, we give the specific data type followed by pointer name. If we are making use of a data structure, an inbuilt data structure, so we will have to write this particular keyword called as file, and then you give your pointer name. With the help of this pointer variable, we will be opening our file. So we see how we would do here. If I had p and I asked you to point it to a function, you remember, or if you point it to array, you would say that particular pointer name, and then you would have given your array name, right? In a similar way, we are talking about files, so we will write again the pointer variable name followed by your function. So your function here is f open. Did you follow now?
Yes, ma'am.
How about others?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you can answer, okay? I'm not teaching just one or two students. I'm
Yes,
teaching the
ma'am.
entire class. I would be happy to get acknowledgement from all of you. You people can drop in your attendance now. We'll continue with this discussion and understanding which are the different modes, more about files in the next class.